Alright, what's up guys? How's it going? My name's Sir Corrupt and welcome to firstly my first ever Hearthstone video and more importantly my review of all of the Grand Tournament cards that have come out thus far. I don't think we'll be getting any more card reveals probably until the 14th, which is on Friday, which is when Blizzard has planned their what's it called? Their next sort of stream slash reveal for the Grand Tournament. It will probably announce the release date, which I honestly wish it was the 14th. I wish this expansion would just come out already. As you guys can see right here, I already have 50 packs ready and waiting to be opened. But more importantly, I'm going to review every single card that has come out, or sorry, hasn't come out, but that has been revealed that will be coming out with the Grand Tournament. I'm gonna go through them really quickly. I'll probably spend a lot more time on the more controversial cards that people aren't really sure whether or not they're gonna be good or anything. But I'm just gonna hop right into it. I actually have Blizz Pro right here. They are amazing and have everything sorted out for me. So I'm just gonna start with the neutral comments. So first card we got some 1-mana creatures: Gadgeon, Jouster, Battlecry. Reveal a minion in each deck. If yours costs more, gain +1/+1. I think this card is pretty good. It's also a pretty good counter to aggro decks. If you're running a control deck, you can just throw this into your deck, and then most of the time, if you're playing against a rush deck who their highest minion cost is 3, you're probably gonna win it. So Gadgeon and Jouster is pretty good in that regard. Even so, in Arena, it can be alright. Obviously you pick this card if you draw it on turn 1. You take the coin toss, you might win it, and if you do, it's really good. If not, it's still a 1-drop for Arena, which is okay. Next we have our other 1-drop, Lowly Squire, Inspire, gain +1 attack. I think this card is okay, but I'm not entirely sure how well it's going to be, or not how well it's going to be, how good it's going to be, because basically for this card to be anything, you have to hero power on turn 2, right? You play it on turn 1, you hero power on turn 2, and then this becomes a 2/2 on turn 2, and it can most either trade with the 1-drop that they played, or it will gain +1 attack and can trade if they coined out something, but like being forced to hero power to make this card be able to trade with 2-drops isn't necessarily that good, because you don't always want hero power turn 2 on generally most classes. Like Mage you don't really want to, Priest you don't want to, Paladin not really, it's okay. Warlock, I don't see you ever running this card in Warlock. Warrior, it can happen in Warrior, so this card might be alright in Warrior, probably not though. Druid, yeah, maybe. I just don't see it being that great of a card personally, but that's just me. Next we have the start of the 2 neutral common drops. This is going to annoy the shit out of me. I'm just going to move that out of the way. Sorry, guys. Actually, wait, hold up. There we go. So yeah, we have Flame Juggler. So Battlecry, deal 1 damage to a random enemy. 2 mana, 2/3. That's okay. Obviously, it's a much worse version of Night Juggler. The 1 damage isn't really going to be useful. I don't think it's going to be that good, but in Arena, it can certainly be a decent card. But yeah, that's just my opinion. I don't really see it having any place in any decks though. So next we have up Lance Bearer, Battlecry, give a friendly minion +2 attack. It's a 2-mana 1/2. I think this is not good enough, because we already have what's the 2-mana? What's the 1-mana 2/1 that gives +2 attack? I actually can't think of it right now, but we already have that, and it costs 1 mana, and you're not playing this card to stay on the board. You most likely are playing this card to give trading value, or you're playing in a rush deck, you're trying to aggro face down. So this card does really, is pretty useless, honestly. Next up we have Argent Horse Rider, 3 mana, 2/1 with Divine Shield and Charge. I guess the purpose of this card is if you're going first, you play this card on turn 3 to kill their 2-drop. That's assuming that they played a 3/2, which doesn't often happen, so I don't really see this card being that good. In Arena, it might be alright, probably not. Silent Knight, however, I see this card being pretty solid. It's a 3-mana 2/2 with Stealth and Divine Shield, so you get to choose when it attacks. It can't be silenced until after you attack or whatever, and then it also gives you the opportunity to buff it, so you can play this in like a Paladin, you can play it, then you can play Blessing of Might, you can play Blessing of Kings even on the next turn, then it becomes a 6/6 Divine Shield Stealth that the enemy player can't do anything about the Divine Shield unless they're running Blood Knight, which doesn't happen. So if you ask me, I think it's a pretty solid card so far. Next up we have Silverhand Regent, 3 mana 3/3, inspire summon a 1/1 Silverhand Recruit. I'm not entirely sure what to think of this card just yet. I've thought about it in certain decks, like, you could run this in like a Shaman deck where you play Silver Hand Regent, and then you Hero Power, you get a Totem and a 1/1 Silver Hand Recruit, and then you could run like double Sea Giants, and just through your Hero Power, you're getting 2 minions, that's reducing the cost of Sea Giant by 2. I feel like that might be something. It probably won't ever see much play. Maybe in something like a mid-range Paladin where you're running dual Quartermasters, you might see it get played. Probably not. Next up, we have Maiden of the Lake. This is a really controversial card because not a lot of people know whether or not it's going to be something that you can really run in any deck. Like, obviously, it makes your hero power cost 1, which is absolutely amazing, especially with the hero power centric sort of like idea of the Grand Tournament. But at a 4 mana slot, it's really hard for you to play this card and then really have it stay alive, right? It's a 2/6, really, I mean, it has good health, but like the attack is just absolutely useless. So like you're not going to be using this card to really do anything other than reduce the cost of your hero power and maybe kill off some weak minions. So I'm not entirely sold on this card yet. Obviously there are some insane combos that can be made where you can, like with Koldara Drake, you have it, you can use your hero power as many times as you want. You have this, and let's say next turn, next turn you have both these out, it's turn 10, then you play like 2 Fallen Heroes or something, which makes your hero power do 1 more damage, only for mage, of course. And then you can hero power 6 times for 3 damage each, that's 18 damage. Pretty ridiculous for 7 or 6 mana, but obviously like this is an extreme scenario. Probably won't happen, so I'm not too sure what to think of that card yet. It will probably see some type of testing in hero power decks, but probably that's about it. 4 mana, 1/8 Tournament Medic. Inspire, restore 2 health to your hero. This card's useless. Nothing else to be said. Clockwork Knight, Battlecry, give a friendly mech a +1/+1. It's a 5 mana 5/5. I think this card's really good. I think this is the mid-game card that Mech Mage needs. Obviously, Mech Mage was very strong and still, honestly, isn't that bad. It does suffer a bit against Grim Patron Warrior, but I mean, what doesn't lose to Grim Patron Warrior right now, right? So, I think Clockwork Knight is a step in the right direction for mech decks. I think it's a pretty solid card, and it will definitely see some play, and maybe even help mech decks come back out. Mookla's Champion, 5 mana, 4/3, Inspire, give your other minions +1/+1. Again, this is one of those cards where you really can't tell, like, the stats are pretty bad for a 5 mana drop. Obviously, for 5, you probably want at least a 4/5. Like, the 3 health just is really bad. And then, the Inspire mechanic, sure, it's a pretty strong mechanic if you have, like, a few minions out on the board, but that's assuming you have a few minions out on the board, and then you play this on a turn that you can hero power. So you're probably not playing until turn 7. Best case scenario, you have Maiden of the Lake out, you can play this on turn 6 and then hero power. Still not really doing that much, but it certainly might be alright. It is a common beast card, which is interesting. It might see some play in Hunter, who knows. North Sea Kraken, 9 mana, 9/7, battle card, deal 4 damage. This card's atrocious. You will never want to spend 9 mana to deal 4 damage and get a minion with 9/7. It's just really not that good. In Arena, it can be pretty solid, obviously, because huge minions in Arena are just, how you really win late game. Generally, is what tends to carry Arena games. So this card might be pretty good. Actually, it probably will be pretty good in Arena because it is a common and it is sorry, it is a neutral card rather than Fire Elemental being a Shaman card. So yeah, good Arena card. That's about it though. So now onto the neutral rares. Injured Cavaldir, 1 mana 2/4 battle card, deal 3 damage to this minion. Exact same mechanic as the Injured Blade Master, except it's a 1 mana 2/4 versus a 3 mana 4/7. Obviously, this card is alright if you're playing Priest, I guess. You play, let's say you go second, so on turn 1 you play Cavaldir, coin coin into another Cavaldir, and then you Circle of Healing. You have two 2 mana 2 2/4s on the board on turn 1, but I mean, it's still just not really doing enough for you. I don't think it's that great of a card. Argent Watchman, 2 mana, 2/4, can't attack, same thing as like Ragnaros, but instead Inspire can attack as normal this turn. Completely not worth it, because you're playing this card on turn 2. Turn 3, you have to Hero Power just to attack with this card that doesn't even have amazing stats. If this card was a 3/4, I might see it being able to be played, but I mean, like, it is absolutely nowhere near better than Ancient Watcher. Ancient Watcher is a 2 mana 4/5. You can just silence it and attack. An Ironbeak Owl costs 2 mana. Hero Powering costs 2 mana, right? So, this card is just extremely inferior to Ancient Watcher, so I don't see why you would ever want to run this card just in general. And next up we have Colosseum Manager, 3 mana 2/5. Inspire, return this minion to your hand. I don't really know what like how useful this Inspire mechanic is going to be. I just don't really see it being like useful. The stats of this card are alright. 3 mana 2/5. It's not ideal, but I mean, if you play this card on turn 3, let's say in a Priest, and you buff it on turn 4 with Velen's Chosen, it becomes a 4/9, which is pretty solid stats, right? But I think on its own, it's really just not that good. Yeah. Next up, Blade's Champion. I actually haven't seen this card yet, which is interesting. It's a 3 mana 4/3 Battlecry, silence a demon. So that's definitely interesting. This card, like, it's not really that good, right? Its main purpose is to counter Demon Lock, right? But you don't really see much Demon Lock nowadays. And even if you do, the only demon you want to silence is not Malygos. Jeez, what is it called? Mal'Ganis. That's the one. The only demon you want to silence is Mal'Ganis, really. So I just don't see this card be like, the stats are okay. Like a 4/3 for 3 mana, like those are alright stats, especially for a neutral card. But other than that, I don't really see it being useful for much other than maybe Arena. Next up, we have Armored Warhorse, the 4 mana 5/3 that has Battlecry, reveal a minion in each deck. If yours costs more, gain charge. Again, this is the what's the mechanic called? Joust mechanic. I really don't understand why Joust isn't a keyword. I personally believe they should have made it a keyword. They added Inspire. I think they should have just added Joust instead of making the Joust mechanic part of Battlecry. But I guess it does sort of make sense. But anyways, back to Armored Warhorse. I think this card is trash. A 5/3 with it gets charged if you win the Joust. But in what deck do you want a 4 mana 5/3 charge? And you are playing cards that will most likely win a Joust, right? Probably never. So this card will probably never see play. Like, the charge mechanic would be good for clearing board, maybe. Like if you're playing, let's say, something like a really heavy control warrior, and your opponent plays I don't know, some minion with 5 health that's like really problematic, you want to get rid of, and you can play Armored Warhorse. Because you're a control warrior, you have a lot of high mana cost monster or minions. Then it might get charged, you can clear the board. Other than that, though, like, it just really won't ever see play, and I'm honestly pretty disappointed. Next up, we have Master Jouster, the 6 mana 5/6 with Battlecry, reveal a minion in each deck. Also a Joust minion, by the way. If yours costs more, gain Taunt and Divine Shield. Now, a lot of people have been not really sure what to think about this card, because obviously 6 mana 5/6 on its own really sucks. But if it does win the Joust, which if you're running this card, you're probably running it in a very control heavy deck. And so you probably have a lot of high costing minions. So it's definitely possible that you would win the Joust. Then it gains extreme value. Taunt and Divine Shield, 6 mana 5/6. It's basically a +1/+1 Sunwalker, right? Which makes it pretty solid in my opinion. But obviously, if you don't win the Joust, you kind of lose out, which is the main problem with it. But I honestly think that this card will be worth running in some control decks. I'm not entirely sure if it's going to be an auto include or actually played, but I feel like it definitely has the potential to be one of those cards that is actually played, because it's such a controlling card if it does win the Joust. And anyways, I'm going to stop the first part here. So I reviewed all of the neutral commons and rares. My next video will actually include the neutral epics, legendaries, and then I will go on to some of the class cards. So stay tuned for that. If you guys like this video, please like the video, subscribe, comment what you guys think about any of the neutral commons or rares. If you disagree with me, that's fine. Leave your opinion in the comment section down below. And I will talk to you guys later. Click the annotation somewhere on the screen or subscribe to my channel for the second part of the my review of the Grand Tournament. And thank you all for watching. Have a great day, everybody.